Well, the Batcave's looking a little different these days, isn't it? As you can see, no more studio. Studio had to come down. Why is that? Well, the landlord toured the property and for whatever reason on this particular visit, even though it's passed several visits before, she took exception to the studio being in the garage on this particular occasion. Basically, in short order, she threw a cow, accurate depiction by the way, and went in and changed the terms of the lease and slapped us with a 10-day comply or evict. So it's been a very tiresome few days trying to get this studio ripped apart, but as you can see, it's done. We're ready to move on, and you know, can't keep a bad man down. You know, that's what they always say, right? You cannot keep a bad man down. If you that guy or girl, whichever you may be, if you the one, when faced with adversity, what do? We overcome, we recoup, recreate, and reinvent. That's what I'm doing right here on Gotham Hemi right now. Studio is currently being rebuilt upstairs. It's gonna be just as dope. And silver lining, we now have a ton of film space and mod space here in the garage. So quick answers on what happened, why it looks so different. But today, what I got on deck is going to be an install on the Rango. Yeah, today we're doing an install on the Rango. The Rango is my wife's brand new daily driver, and it's an SUV, obviously, but it does not have a roof rack. So we want to put on a roof rack and get a rack up there, and, you know, be able to take full advantage of that SUV life. So what I have here is a product from Perrycraft. I bought this from Amazon. I'll throw the link down in the description if you are interested. I looked into the OEM roof rails, but they just were 4 times as expensive as this, and that's not including the crossbars or anything else. That's simply the rails that go on the roof. So I said, no, we're gonna go ahead and go with a third-party brand. So here we are. We've got this Perrycraft. I'm gonna take you guys every step of the way, show you the install process, and give you my thoughts and views at the end. Let's get it. Alright, so chances are that you've probably found this video because you yourself have made this purchase and have discovered that the instructions are confusing and, well, pretty much trash. Not to worry, I got you completely covered. Step-by-step instructions coming up here that actually make sense. Other than what comes in the package, additional tools needed will be a tape measure, masking tape, Sharpie marker, a drill, Phillips head screwdriver, a hammer, and an adjustable wrench. There we go. The very first step is going to be slide 2 tie-down loops into the middle of each rail. This is nice and easy as it is a tongue and groove system. You just line up the notches and slide them into the middle of the rack. Next, we're going to do a test fitting of the rails on the roof.
Now, worthy of note, if you have a weather strip on your roof, just like the Rango has there, that black strip on the left hand side, you definitely do not want to secure the rails on top of anything like that. Place your rails in the ideal location where you want them to be fitted. Keep in mind to leave clearances for things such as sunroofs and shark fin antennas like the Rango has in the back. Make sure that you're definitely going to have enough room to operate with those obstacles putting on your crossbars. Also worthy of notation is that vehicles seldomly have roof lines that run perpendicular from front to back, meaning that the back is most likely going to be wider than the front. So if you're attaching your rails according to the body lines of your vehicles, you're actually going to be installing the rails at an angle. Now this might not matter if you don't need to move and adjust your crossbars completely along the entirety of the rail. It should only affect about 1 to 2 feet of the adjustment. But if you're looking for full adjustment, then you're definitely going to want to make sure that you line your rails up perpendicular with each other rather than along the body lines of the car. And I'll illustrate this a little bit further down in the video. Once you have your rails perfectly positioned, go ahead and take your Sharpie and use the holes in the rails to mark your drill points onto the roof of your vehicle. After fully marking your drill points, go ahead and measure and make sure that you know exactly where that rail is located so that you can match it to the other side. Next, we're going to be preparing to drill into the roof. Now we know that the roof is a 1/2 inch thick, so we do not want to drill any deeper to prevent leakage. What you see me doing here is marking off a flag on my drill bit so that I can stop at the 1/2 inch mark. Once your flag is complete, go ahead and start drilling at your drill points into the roof. Quick tip, make sure you start with moderate pressure and slow speed. This will give your drill bit the chance to bite into the slick paint and metal of the roof and will prevent any slipping. And with your pilot holes complete, it is now time to fix the rails to the roof of the vehicle. Simply realign the holes with your pilot holes and fix them back down with masking tape. Here's where you're going to see me make my first deviation from the instruction pamphlet. And according to the instructions, the screws that they provide are quote unquote waxed, and basically the threads of the screws have wax in between them. So theoretically, when they get screwed down, the wax is going to bunch up together and prevent leakage. That doesn't sound very reassuring to me, and given the way that these instructions are written in the first place, it really doesn't give me any kind of assurances that this is going to be leak proof. So I'm using silicone to fill the holes and make sure that when the rain comes, it stays on the outside. And repeat process for the other side rail. Up next, we're going to be skipping the most baffling instruction in all of the instructions, which tells you to permanently affix the end cap to the end of the rails. As you can see, if you follow that instruction right now, you will not be able to proceed with the rest of the installation. So, Forget that instruction and continue with these. Instead, go ahead and slide on the stanchion bracket to the rail. Once again, this is tongue and groove method, so it slides right on once you line it up perfectly. Same goes for the stanchion itself. Tongue and groove, slide it onto the stanchion bracket to complete the assembly. Once you have the stanchion fully assembled, you can affix it in place by tightening the supplied wing nuts. Next, we're going to start the crossbar installation. These are going to slide right into the stanchions, nice and easy. Now there are two installation methods for the crossbars. If you don't mind the look, you can simply thread the crossbar in through both stanchions and essentially you will be done with your roof rack. If you're like me and you appreciate more of that OEM look, then you can use the supplied end caps and do a little bit of cutting and achieve a cleaner look. That's the method that I'm going to be showing next. To achieve the custom fit look, you're going to want to thread the crossbar into the stanchion so that it only protrudes to the end of the end cap notch. This is going to leave quite a bit of excess hanging off the other side. On that side, go ahead and take your Sharpie and draw a line at the end of the end cap mark so that you know where to cut. Remove the crossbar from the stanchion and take it to a workbench and complete your cut. Once your cut is complete, go ahead and remove the stanchion from the vehicle and affix it to the crossbar. On the back side of the crossbar, you're going to see two holes, which we're going to use a 3/16 drill bit to drill into one of these holes and into the crossbar. We're going to affix the crossbar to the stanchion with a grommet. With the grommets in place, the crossbar should be fully affixed to the stanchion. Now it's going to be time to affix the end caps to the stanchions, but you're going to run into an issue with the socket head caps that they supplied in the box. If you got the same material that I got, the 1/4x20 socket head caps will not be long enough to secure the stanchion in place. So quick trip down to Lowe's and you get a 1/2x20 is what I used to complete this process. Once you have the proper hardware, simply use the provided locking nut to secure the head cap to the stanchion. And as I had prefaced earlier in this video, if you do not account for the taper in your roof, you will notice at this point that you have two different sized crossbars. Not to worry, in my case, I don't need to be able to adjust my crossbars completely from front to back, so I am not at all worried about that, but this is something that you would want to keep in mind for your own installation. And from there, all that remains is to reaffix the crossbars onto the stanchion brackets and your installation will be complete. After you permanently affix the end cap rails onto the vehicle. Don't worry, at this time it is now okay to place those end cap rails on permanently, as you will not need to be making any other adjustments. Definitely really appreciate the streamlined, more OEM look of the rack itself. A lot of racks, especially the temporary clip-on ones. They tend to be bulky and, just really ugly on top of your car. This one looks like it belongs there. It looks like it came from the lot there. And, that's what we were really looking for, a permanent solution that didn't stick out like a sore thumb. So, installation gripes aside, I would definitely recommend this if you can install it on your own. All right, everybody. Well, that's going to put the wraps up on this one. My name is Mr. J. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button for future installs, including now we don't know what to name the Rango. So if you have any suggestions for the name of the Rango, hit me up in that comment section, definitely. But installations on the Rango and Gotham Hemi are soon to come. So hit that subscribe button. Stay tuned. Thanks for tuning in. And I'll catch you in the next one. Deuces.